The seeds of vengeance. The cold, hard facts of the betrayal were a constant hum in my ears. Thorn and David, the two people I had trusted most in the world, twisting my loyalty and love into tools for their own selfish gain. The hollow feeling in my chest had hardened into a furious resolve. I wasn't just Deadeye anymore. I was a woman wronged, and a woman scorned. My first step was to disappear. Not physically, not yet, but from the public eye. I politely declined Thorn's cushy job offer, citing a need for more time to recover. She seemed to buy it, probably thinking I was broken, malleable. Good. Let her think that. I started spending my days in my old workshop, a place where I used to tinker with electronics and machinery, turning it into my command center. My military training kicked in. Intelligence gathering. Reconnaissance. I used the skills I'd honed in the desert, but this time, my targets were far closer to home. I started with Thorn. Her new mansion was a fortress, but I knew its weaknesses. I watched her, learning her routines, her comings and goings, the security patrols. I even found old blueprints from her last official base, guessing she'd replicate some of the systems. Unraveling the web. The USB drive was just the tip of the iceberg. Thorn was meticulous, but not perfect. She had a network, a web of dirty money and dirty deals. I used my old contacts, the ones who owed me favors, the ones who didn't ask too many questions. I fed them bits of information, disguised as idle chatter, and they, in turn, unknowingly brought me more pieces of the puzzle. I tracked bank transfers, shell corporations, and coded messages. It was like dismantling a bomb, each wire carefully chosen. Then there was David, my husband, the man I had loved. This part was harder. It felt like tearing open an old wound every time I looked at him. He seemed oblivious, or maybe just a good actor, still playing the role of the loving husband. But I watched him too. I found the burner phone, hidden in his old fishing tackle box. It had messages, not just from Thorn, but from other people involved in the network. David wasn't just a victim of Thorn's manipulation. He was an active participant. That revelation solidified my resolve. There would be no mercy. My plan began to form, precise and ruthless. I wouldn't just expose them. I would dismantle their entire operation, ruin their lives piece by agonizing piece, just as they had ruined mine. I wouldn't need guns or explosions for this. I had something far more potent: information. The long game. I started small. Anonymous tips to minor regulatory agencies, hinting at financial discrepancies in Thorn's known associates. Each tip was carefully crafted, just enough to cause a ripple, but not enough to point back to me. I wanted to sow distrust, to make Thorn's carefully constructed empire feel the first tremors of an earthquake. I started leaking small, untraceable bits of data to online forums known for whistleblowers, all related to the black market arms deals. The chatter started, hushed whispers in the dark corners of the internet. Next, I turned to David. I began leaving subtle hints, clues that only he would recognize. A specific phrase from an old love letter whispered in a phone message from an unknown number. A photo of him and Thorn, cropped and distorted, slipped under his car windshield. Not enough to panic him into confessing, but enough to make him paranoid, to realize someone was watching. I wanted him to feel the cold grip of fear, just as I had. My revenge wouldn't be a sudden, fiery explosion. It would be a slow, methodical unraveling. A creeping dread. I wanted them to know they were being hunted, to watch their world crumble, brick by agonizing brick, until there was nothing left but the ruin they had made. And when they finally looked up, trapped in the debris of their own making, they would see me, Miles Deadeye Kalen, standing over them, the architect of their downfall.